Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Rogers Center. Blue Jays trying to win their first series of the season. John Farrell's Boston Red Sox and the Blue Jays have split the first two games. Boston won the opener on Friday night, 6-4. Blue Jays shut out the Red Sox on just 2 hits. They won 5-0 on Saturday. Top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury against the Blue Jays has always been a pain in their side. A 323 average against the Blue Jays. That's 282 at-bats. That's a good measure of talent against the Blue Jays. R.A. Dickey has seen a lot of Shane Victorino, the number 2 hitter. Shane Victorino against R.A. Dickey has a home run and a 263 average. 19 at-bats for Victorino. That's the most at-bats of any Red Sox player in the lineup against Dickey.
Second start of the season for R.A. Dickey. He took the loss on opening night versus the Cleveland Indians, 0-1 with a 450 earned run average. Pitched okay that day. A little bit wild. Had 4 walks in that game. Usually he doesn't walk that many. He's right around the strike zone. It's a little bit better control for Dickey needed here this afternoon against Boston.
Well, we know the defense behind Dickey is important. The outfield, a little bit different makeup. Melky Cabrera still in left field. Emilio Bonifacio makes his first start of the season in center field. Rajay Davis is in right. Mark DeRosa back at third base. Reyes and Isturiz team up the middle. Edwin Encarnacion. And Henry Blanco makes his first start of the season. He is back behind the plate for the knuckleballer, R.A. Dickey.
That will be interesting to watch. This is his 10th career game catching R.A. Dickey.
Jacoby Ellsbury makes the first pitch strike. We are underway. R.A. Dickey, 20-6 a year ago, the National League Cy Young Award winner. Over Reyes, and that's going to split the outfielders and go all the way to the wall. Ellsbury is headed into second, and he's going to stop right there. Jacoby Ellsbury with his 3rd hit of the series, 2nd consecutive game. He started the ball game with a leadoff double.
And the other game, he got on base by a walk and was stranded at third base. With his great speed, he was thinking about 3. Knuckleball, look at the movement, or lack of movement. Over the middle of the plate, head down, he lines it. Looked like Reyes had a shot at this one. Athletic ability just over his glove into the gap.
So Ellsbury, leadoff man aboard. You got to keep your eye on him. And Victorino bunts at it and bunts it foul. Ellsbury has 3 steals in this series. We mentioned Shane Victorino. This is his first year in the American League. Of course, most of his career in Philadelphia in the NL East with the Mets.
And he's a switch hitter, and check out where he's hitting from, the right side.
We have seen this from time to time. We see switch hitters bat right-handed against knuckleballers. Just they feel more comfortable.
A little bit more comfortable in the visual from the pitcher's standpoint. It's like that guy is right on top of the plate and you don't have a window to throw the ball into the strike zone. I wonder if he was thinking about maybe changing that as he walked up to the plate. He's got the double flap helmet, so it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to go back to get that. After the leadoff double, if he was going to sacrifice, maybe start from the left side and just bring it with you.
Inside, he hung in there late, hoping to get hit by that pitch. Just in case you're curious, if a batter steps into the batter's box to begin an at-bat as a right-handed hitter, he has to complete that at-bat from the right side. 2-2. There's a liner into center. That'll get down for a base hit. Ellsbury running around third, and Encarnacion knocked it down. Ellsbury was thinking about scoring. Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, came 3/4 of the way down toward home and threw up a late stop sign.
Yeah, he gets way down there to give that runner as much time as possible to try and score. And once again, the knuckleball, you see it just float up there. That one just tumbles over the middle of the plate. And Victorino singles the center. Watch Brian Butterfield. He comes down now. He wants to get a good view of that outfielder. Plus, he wants to give that runner a long time to come around that bag.
Ellsbury had a full head of steam coming around third. First and third, nobody out. Well, Dickey's got a quick move. Very athletic from the mound, and as much as knuckleballers really have problems with the stolen base, Dickey diffuses it very effectively.
Very good pickoff move for a right-handed pitcher, and he's quick to home.
Pedroia swings right through that pitch upstairs. Dustin Pedroia in the series is 3 for 9. Hit a pair of doubles, and he's also walked. Off to a decent start at 318.
Been one of the most consistent batters in all of baseball the last 6 seasons.
And he's late on that knuckler. That's always a challenge for hitters to make adjustments from one night to the next. You got to face a knuckleballer, and you really don't have any particular way to throw it. You see fewer rotations on that knuckler right there from Dickey. 0-2. Pedroia fights it off.
He will throw that knuckleball upstairs, just like we've seen here with 2 strikes. That is a planned idea to the batters with 2 strikes to stand them up a little bit. And as a hitter, you see that ball coming in there and you think you can knock it 9 miles.
Well, Pedroia has always been a great hitter, anything up in the zone and even out of the zone upstairs.
Might want to try one down and away now.
Poke past Isturis into right. Ellsbury jogs home, and Pedroia has picked up the RBI. Boston has taken a 1-0 lead. 3 consecutive hits to start the game.
He's tough at bat, Dustin Pedroia. Told you, one of the most consistent batters over the last 6 seasons. He's going to stay right on this knuckleball. That one's the tumbler. Tried to get it down and away. Good plate coverage by Pedroia. Shortens up the swing and just pokes it the other way. Comes up with a base hit and an RBI.
3rd RBI of the season for the Red Sox second baseman. First and second, still nobody out. Mike Napoli 1 for 9 in the series. Napoli struck out 3 times in yesterday's game. His one hit was a 2-run home run off of Josh Johnson Friday night. R.A. Dickey has the ability to get strikeouts. He led the National League last year in that department. Struck out 230 for the season. Henry Blanco, as Pat mentioned, catching Dickey for the 10th time in his career. These two were teammates with the Mets in 2010.
Soft hands behind the plate. You can see he's got that extended catcher's glove, the big one. Almost looks like a first baseman's glove for the knuckleball.
Henry Blanco, 41 years old. He's got over 14 years of experience in the big leagues. Started out in the Dodgers system. Popped out of play.
R.A. Dickey won't throw exclusively knuckleballs. I mean, he has other things in his bag of tricks. He'll throw a little bit of a cutter. I think that's what he had right there off of Mike Napoli. Registered 84 miles an hour. He keeps it away from right-handers, trying to get him to roll over on that one.
Blue Jays starters have had a tough time getting through the first inning. First time through the rotation, all 5 starters have thrown over 20 pitches in the first inning. Brandon Morrow will open up the Tigers series on Tuesday afternoon in Detroit. 2-2. Drive toward left, Cabrera back, and it's over his head. Victorino's around third. He's going to score. Right behind him is Dustin Pedroia, and Mike Napoli drives in too, as the Red Sox have taken a 3-0 lead in the first.
Ball up to Mike Napoli, a run producer, a big home run hitter, a big bat in the middle of the lineup. Let's take a look at the grip with 2 strikes. You can see it looks like a changeup type of grip. It had hung up over the middle of the plate. That was not a knuckleball, and Napoli jumps all over it.
See, Victorino had to make sure that ball was safely down, and he and Pedroia both scored on the double by Napoli. Will Middlebrooks drives this to the opposite field. It is gone. Will Middlebrooks, his second home run of the series. And the Red Sox have jumped all over R.A. Dickey here in the first.
That one did look like a knuckleball from Dickey. John Gibbons looking on, and very quickly the Red Sox all over him. Great power from Middlebrooks. Home runs last year in about half the season because of the injury. He broke his wrist late in the season, but you can see the outstanding power to right field and over the 328 sign.
Middlebrooks hit 15 home runs a year ago. Pete Walker, the pitching coach, out to have a chat with R.A. Dickey. 5 straight hits from the Red Sox to start the ball game. Daniel Nava starting at first base this afternoon. Nava played on Friday night. There's a fly ball to left. Melky Cabrera on his horse at the track. Runs it down. Nava gave it a ride. Cabrera stayed with it. That's the first out of the inning.
That's the thing about the knuckleball. You square it up, it'll go a long way. Nava just missing another home run. Melky's an excellent outfielder. Takes one quick look to find out where that fence is, knows that he has some time, and hauls it in.
Red Sox were shut out on just 2 hits yesterday. Jared Saltalamacchia, the switch hitting catcher. Saltalamacchia, more conventional approach than Shane Victorino, also a switch hitter. Saltalamacchia batting left-handed, and he hits this ball hard. Rajay Davis at the warning track makes the catch. Right now, that knuckleball is not dancing the way Dickey would like.
Yeah, and he's got a good one. It usually dances. He can make the ball go to the left or make the ball go to the right. It's just kind of hanging over the strike zone right now, and it is up. Usually throws it about 80 miles an hour. You can see right there, that looked like a changeup type of spin on it. And the ball's hit hard by Saltalamacchia for the second out.
The rookie, Jackie Bradley Jr. in left field. There's a strike. And Dickey continues to work very quickly. "27 pitches in the first." Strikes him out. Well, the Red Sox get off to a quick start. 5 runs on 5 hits. The Blue Jays got some work to do. talking over that first inning, and boy, the Red Sox, they were on everything. So the Blue Jays, their lineup's going to have to do some work now. You look at the top of the order, Reyes is off to a great start. He's 6 for 9 in the series. Melky Cabrera against John Lester is 9 for 24. That's a 375 clip, and he has 999 career hits. Meister Astores starts at second base this afternoon. He too has hit well against John Lester. Astores is a switch hitter. He will bat right-handed against John Lester, and John Lester has been staked to an early lead.
Yeah, he got his 2013 season off to a very good start as he beat the Yankees in New York through 5 innings, and he loves pitching in this ballpark. He's got outstanding numbers in his last 8 starts here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have only hit 140 off of him in those last 8 starts, so they certainly have their work cut out for him.
We mentioned Reyes in his good series, 6 for 9. That's helped him to that 421 average. Bouncing ball, big hop for the second baseman, Pedroia. 1 out. Take a look at the defense behind John Lester. In the outfield, Jackie Bradley Jr. making his 3rd start of the series. Ellsbury and Victorino center and right. Will Middlebrooks at 3rd base. Jose Iglesias started on Friday night, got hit by a pitch, had to leave that game. He's back at shortstop. Pedroia and Daniel Nava starts at first base. Salta Lamacchia back behind the plate, and he'll team up with John Lester.
John Farrell says, what the big deal that Iglesias missed yesterday's game. He was scheduled for one of these games, one of these day games, to be an off day because he wanted to get Siriaco in there. Iglesias came out yesterday and was still banged up a little bit, so had the day off.
Siriaco did a good job filling in for Iglesias. Rajay Davis pulls it foul. One thing the Blue Jays can't try to do against Lester is get all 5 back runs this inning. Make him work, get your pitch, and get some base runners aboard.
Yep, as far as I know, and I've been in baseball a long time, I do not think there's a 5-run home run. So you got to bunch them together, get him in the stretch, and make him work and throw a lot of pitches.
Rajay Davis strikes out, look like a breaking ball, and Lester retires the first 2 he faces in the bottom of the first.
He's always had one of the best cutters in baseball and a good fastball. Last time out, the curveball just wasn't there in that start against the Yankees. In fact, he only threw 16 curveballs, 3 of them for strikes in that start against the Yankees. Today he starts off nicely with it.
Melky Cabrera takes one outside. We mentioned Melky has 999 career hits. He was 1 for 4 in the game yesterday afternoon. Last year he got off to a great start with the San Francisco Giants. He had hits in his first 8 games of the season. For the season a year ago, he hit 346.
He's a good hitter. He's got a short swing, and he works at his craft.
Bouncing ball. Iglesias has it. Good inning for John Lester. He retires the Blue Jays in order on just 8 pitches. Boston with a big lead early. Canada is in a historic battle with Italy in Davis Cup action. They have a chance to go to the semifinals in Davis Cup play for the first time in history. You can see all the action right here at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 2 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet Pacific, Ontario, and East. Milos Raonic and Daniel Nestor leading the charge. Jose Iglesias, well, he's off to a good start. He had one plate appearance in this series. In his first at bat on Friday night, he was hit by a pitch and had to leave the ball game eventually. That's pulled foul. Red Sox plan on Stephen Drew being their everyday shortstop. Drew was signed as a free agent in the offseason. He was in spring training, suffered a concussion, and he's now on rehab assignment in the minors.
He was their big prospect at shortstop and really didn't hit well last year, so he spent the winter working out with Dustin Pedroia in Arizona. Knew he had to get stronger, knew he had to hit a little bit better to get in the lineup.
Reyes flat-footed, not in time. Iglesias got out of the box in good shape. Reyes had to go to his right, really couldn't plant that right foot and had to throw flat-footed, and Iglesias beats it out.
Might have to shorten up on him. You can see where he caught the ball, and you're right, just from the flat foot. He still had plenty on it, but Iglesias beats it out. Had a running start towards first base. Yeah, that's another thing. He can run a little bit also.
Well, Dickey had a rough first inning. Red Sox scored 5 runs on 5 hits in the first. Last year, R.A. Dickey for the season allowed opponents a 134 batting average in the first inning. This season so far, hitters are 5 for 11 in the first inning. Just 2 starts. Ellsbury got it started with a leadoff double.
Ideally, what you want to do if you're a knuckleball pitcher, to have a team that is a free swinger. And I wouldn't classify the Cleveland Indians as a free swinging team. That's who R.A. Dickey pitched against in opening this season. And the Boston Red Sox are not really a free swinging team. That really plays into the hand of a good knuckleballer.
To give you an idea what an unusual start to a ballgame this is for R.A. Dickey. He gave up 5 first inning runs all season last year. 5 this afternoon in the first. Iglesias hit first, and Ellsbury fouls it off. Jacoby Ellsbury, free agent after this season, and generally you don't have contract discussions once the season is underway, so chances are Ellsbury will test the free agent market.
Red Sox have locked up their young players before they got the free agency, but Ellsbury has signed 6 one-year contracts in his career.
Pops this one up left side of the infield. Mark DeRosa in fair territory. Ellsbury's retired. R.A. Dickey fans in center field have a good perspective right behind the center fielder. It's going to be interesting to see throughout the course of the year how the change in the configuration out there in center is going to affect the ball off the bat.
It's, if this homestand is any early indication, you know, time to get in that batter's box because the balls are flying out of here.
Blue Jays have hit 11 home runs already. Shane Victorino continues to bat from the right side. You remember, Shane Victorino is a switch hitter. He's one of the few big leaguers that has always worn that double flapped helmet. He got used to it playing in the minors and just stayed with it. Ball on the strike.
Tracking that knuckleball pretty well. Again, the Red Sox don't have a lot of free swingers. They like to poke the ball around. They've got a great on-base percentage. They lead the American League in on-base percentage. It's been a team that's always hit a lot of doubles.
That ball moved a little bit better, and Victorino got it off the end of the bat. Mike Napoli, 2-run double in the first. He has driven in 5 in this series. Victorino swings and misses. Second strikeout of the afternoon for R.A. Dickey.
Ball seemed to move just a little bit more about halfway towards the plate. Watching the super slow. It's there. Now you can see it starting to move around. Henry Blanco does a good job of corralling that one. That's the knuckleball that you need against the Red Sox, that moving pitch.
Pedroia is trying to wait as long as possible before he commits. He had a 2-strike single through the right side of the infield his first time up to drive in the first run of the ball game. James sitting back, just trying to catch it at the last moment, and that time he was late.
You know, there's a couple of different theories on how to hit the knuckleball. You can stand a little bit closer to the pitcher and catch it before it breaks. You can stand deep in the batter's box so you can track it as long as possible, or maybe get right on top of the plate, making it tough for him to throw a strike. It looks like Pedroia is going to use the one where you get deep in the batter's box and track it and try and poke it the other way.
Dickey was tough on right-handed hitters a year ago. They hit just .218 against him. There goes Iglesias, cut out and missed. Pedroia strikes out. That'll end the inning. Good bounce back inning for R.A. Dickey. Now he'll turn things over to the hitters. Zone, our guests of TD. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. Bottom of the second inning, Blue Jays trail 5-0. Edwin Encarnacion 0 for 9 in the series. Edwin had a finger injury after his return from the WBC, and that has limited his at-bats. Might take him a while to get his timing.
Yeah, he missed about 3 or 4 days right at the end of spring training when he came back from the WBC, and that might have something to do with his slow start.
There's that cutter, a little more depth down and in, and Encarnacion strikes out. Second strikeout of the afternoon. Fans, it's time for our BlackBerry Sneak Peek Stat of the Game, brought to you by the new BlackBerry Z10, built to keep you moving.
It's the declining strikeouts for John Lester over the last 4 seasons. 2009, he had averaged 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, and then each year it has gone down. And the Red Sox think they found the problem with John Lester.
JP and Seavey is going to bloop one in front of the left fielder, Jackie Bradley Jr. and JP swinging a hot bat. He's the DH here this afternoon.
Stay hot and pick up that base hit. What the Red Sox have done with John Lester is they felt like he was throwing uphill last year, that he had a little bit too much turn in that front leg as he delivered the pitch towards home plate, and it really got him off track. So what they've done is try to have him stay a little bit higher in his windup. Don't load up on that back leg so much and really drive that front leg towards home plate. And it looks like the John Lester from a couple of years ago here early in this game.
Mark DeRosa takes one outside. But that base hit, JP Arencibi has tied Jose Reyes for the team lead. They both have 8 hits early on. Fly ball to right. Victorino's got a beat on it, and Arencibi will have to hustle back to first.
You know, one other thing, Buck, that the Red Sox have tried to do with John Lester is speed him up just a little bit. Remember over the last couple of years how much time he had in between pitches. Instead of saying, hey, look, John, trust your stuff and really just drill it down to that bottom part of that strike zone. Your stuff is outstanding. It seemed like he would take a lot of time in between pitches.
Juan Nieves in his first year as the pitching coach for the Red Sox. Certainly they have John Farrell back as their manager, who served as the Red Sox pitching coach for 4 years.
In his best years, Lester and Buchholz was when Farrell was the pitching coach. All you have to do is watch that front leg. If it's swinging over towards third base on his delivery towards the plate, it really messes up his mechanics. But if he picks it up and drives it straight towards home plate, he really stays on line.
2 outs. Meiser Asturias, the second baseman. Base hit to right. Arencibi had to hop over that hot ground ball, first and second with 2 outs.
This is what the Blue Jays have had a little trouble doing here in the early parts of this season, stringing base hits or base runners together. You see JP skipping out of the way, jumping out of the way of that ball to get into scoring position. They haven't had a lot of base runners. Hit the ball out of the ballpark, yes, but they haven't combined walks and base hits. They have those big innings.
Henry Blanco in his first start of the season. Last year in 21 games with Arizona, he just 188. 12 for 64. Checks his swing, the appeal down to first, and Jim Reynolds calls him for the swing. We mentioned Blanco's 41 years old. He comes out of Caracas, Venezuela, and he goes too far. Henry's a terrific defensive catcher, does a great job calling a game.
And if you make a mistake, he can still hurt you.
Well, there's a little depth to that cutter. You can see the difference, and you pointed out the mechanical adjustment he made in his delivery.
And if he does that, he stays on top of the ball, and he can get that cutter under the bats of the right-handers. Last year, it would just kind of stay on the same plane and sweep over the plate instead of dive over the plate.
0-2. Popped up over near the seats, and that'll drift out of play. We mentioned the Blue Jays with a couple of hits this inning. It's only the 8th inning all season long in which they've had more than 1 hit.
Got to combine those hits. Take advantage of the defense if they give you opportunities. Maybe take advantage of a walk here and there. That'll help you get back into this ball game.
Blanco strikes out. Good depth on that pitch down and in, and Lester records his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. Blue Jays leave a pair. We're headed to the 3rd. Boston leads it 5-0. Jays Club is presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Become a member of the Junior Jays Club. Members receive a Blue Jays cap, a baseball, stationery kit, and front-of-the-line access to run the bases. Membership is only $19.99, so sign up today. Log on to BlueJays.com/kids or call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1715 for more information. Yesterday we had our first Junior Jays Saturday of the season and a great crowd of 45,797. Lots of kids on hand. It's always a great atmosphere, so join the Junior Jays Club. Mike Napoli, the cleanup man, will lead things on. Napoli had a 2-run double in the first, part of that 5-run first inning. There's a little bit more movement from that knuckleballer. Napoli just 167, but you can see a home run and 5 RBIs. That's all in this series.
I call it the shake on the knuckleball. When you see that ball going towards home plate, if it's shaking just a little bit, if you can see that, think how hard it is to hit it. The flat knuckleball, not the one that tumbles, the flat one that just stays on that plane. That one's a little bit easier to hit than the one that shakes as it comes towards home plate.
That looked like a fastball.
83. Tough to throw a knuckleball at 83.
Full count. Came right back for a strikeout. 3 strikeouts in a row, 1 out here in the top of the third. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Now, the Blue Jays are happy to hear that Verlander is starting this afternoon. That means he won't pitch in the 3-game series. Blue Jays will open up against the Tigers on Tuesday afternoon. That's a fair ball past DeRosa. Middlebrooks headed around first. He'll go into second. Melky Cabrera digs it out in the corner. And Will Middlebrooks has a home run and a double.
He's just a good-looking hitter. Tall. He's got long arms, so he's got good plate coverage. You can see how flat his bat is and quick inside. He's got a power stroke. Reminds me a lot of Troy Gloss when Troy Gloss was a young player. Third baseman that came up and extend those arms through the baseball.
One out, man in scoring position. Daniel Nava flied out to deep left field his first time up. That ball gets away from Blanco, and Middlebrooks will go to third.
Note where that ball was, Buck, for the catcher. You had a chance to talk with Henry Blanco, and he said that's one of the toughest places to try and catch it.
Yeah, watch this ball float. Barely any rotations at all, and it goes right off the end of that glove on the right side, and that's where Blanco is most concerned about the ball getting away from him. He's got to reach across his body, and that late movement cost him a pass ball. The infield is in now with 1 out and Middlebrooks at third. The Red Sox scored 5 runs in the first inning off Dickey. They had 4 hits with runners in scoring position in the first inning. That's 1 more than the Blue Jays have had all season. Popped up down the left side. DeRosa giving chase, and it's into the first row of seats. Fans, if you want your baseball questions answered by our team of experts, email asktheexperts@sportsnet.ca. Then you can keep your eye out for Home Hardware's Ask the Expert segment later in the game. And we've got a full lineup of baseball experts, and you can bet they'll answer your questions. Just send us an email. 1-2 to Daniel Nava. Popped up. Rajay Davis deep in right field. Nava got underneath it, but that's going to be deep enough for Middlebrooks to jog home. Nava picks up the RBI for the sac fly. It's 6-0 Boston.
It's a good piece of hitting right there by Nava. Change your approach just a little bit. Get an uppercut so you can drive the ball into the outfield. He usually closes it off and uses the whole field. You can see that time he was trying to hit that ball deep enough to score that run.
Catcher Jared Saltalamacchia will stand in with 2 outs. Goes after the first pitch. Lifts it into center. Emilio Bonifacio starting in center field today makes the out. The inning is over, but the Red Sox had a run.
By Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice. And by the 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Final game of the first homestand of the season. Got a perfect homestand. Blue Jays fans have come out in droves. The first 2 games of this Boston Red Sox series, 91,125 for the first 2 games. Another good crowd on hand this afternoon.
Now we got to give them something to cheer about.
9-1-2 for the Blue Jays, the center fielder Emilio Bonifacio. Be interesting to watch the pattern Lester uses, as the inside part of the plate has been very good for him early in this game.
Yeah, especially to those right-handers. He's got a couple of those fastballs underneath their bats.
Lester's always been strong on the third base side of home plate. He really became an elite pitcher when he mastered the first base side. Shoots for it there and misses.
That's the thing about John Lester. That cutter, he doesn't just throw it in one spot. He can backdoor it to the right-handers, meaning he can bring it from the outside part of the plate and hit the outside part against the righties, or the inside part like he's going to there. Or he can front door it to the left-handers.
Well, Lester had the benefit of a terrific catcher early in his career. Jason Varitek, the longtime captain of the Red Sox, always made a point of emphasizing that first base side of the plate to Lester. But that's his bread and butter. Nava can't get there in time. Ball didn't stay in the air long enough.
And that was the pitch that he lost last year when he had a terrible season. He just could not get it underneath those right-handers, underneath their bats. It just stayed on that hitting plane. And Jose Bautista would talk in the meeting, say, hey, if you see that ball coming in the middle of the plate, just let it go, because it's going to come in off the plate.
2-2. There's that cutter on the outside corner. That backdoor cutter, and Bonifacio is the first out of the third. Rogers customers can watch every Blue Jays game this season on Sportsnet, live on your smartphone. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com/sports to get started. Great vantage point out there in center field, and a lot of fans have really taken advantage of the new look in center. What was formerly Windows Restaurant has been opened up, and the fans seem to really like it.
When are we going to be out there?
Oh, we'll be out there. Book it. Reyes with a little looper. That'll get down in left field. His 9th hit of the season, and Reyes is aboard. 3rd hit for the Jays against Leicester.
Got to hit it out in front. If he throws that cutter, you've got to hit it out in front or you're going to miss it. That's what Reyes does. Stays on this one, breaks his bat. But he's quick enough inside to pull it into left field for the Blue Jays' 3rd hit of the afternoon.
Rajai Davis starting in right field in place of Jose Bautista. We mentioned Bautista not in the starting lineup for the 3rd straight game. By all reports, he is going to be ready on Tuesday afternoon in Detroit.
Had a nice chat with Jose, and I asked him that same thing, and he said he went down and he jammed his heel on the bag the other night. Says he can walk around, says I can pinch hit, but I just can't run right now, let alone trying to stop and start. But I think with the off day tomorrow, he should be back in the lineup in Detroit.
That happened on Thursday night in the 8th inning. Rajai Davis, big bouncing ball. Middlebrooks to second for 1. Pedroia back to first, not in time. Davis with those good wheels keeps the inning alive. Mentioned Jose Bautista. He was available to pinch hit in last night's game, and John Gibbons was thinking about it. This is early this morning during batting practice. Bautista swinging the bat, and it's just a matter of time. He is available should they need his bat off the bench this afternoon.
Yeah, the pain is right behind the bone in your ankle, not your Achilles tendon, between your Achilles tendon and that bone. And it's sore. It's sore when he tries to run and stop and start on this turf.
Melky Cabrera grounded to short his first time up. Cabrera filling in the 3rd spot in the order so far this season. He's 4 for 21. Popped up. Nava in foul territory, and the inning is over. Cabrera retired on the pop out. Blue Jays get a base hit, but strand another base runner. They've left 3 against John Lester. uniforms. There are 65 amateur baseball teams in attendance here today for Team Photo Day. After the game, they'll be invited to have their team photo taken on the field with a Blue Jays player. The Toronto Blue Jays, of course, are terrific supporters of amateur baseball across Canada. And lots of young players have their uniforms on for Photo Day. You get an opportunity to come out and get on the field and have a Blue Jay stand in their picture with them.
Isn't that awesome?
It is awesome.
You know, as a kid, you put your uniform on and you go to the ballpark. I remember doing that.
That's a fair ball tapped out in front of home. Blanco gets on it quickly, and Jackie Bradley Jr. is retired. It's the first out of the top half of the fourth. Yeah, you know what? There's nothing like it. You get to go to the ballpark with your team and your family, and then after the game, you get to get on the field and take a picture. You can imagine 8, 9, 10-year-old players having that picture in their bedroom and look at it every single day. And I was at Rogers Center and took a picture with the Blue Jay.
How cool would that have been if you were a little kid? And going to the ball game wearing your uni is cool enough.
That's
seeing
awesome.
your heroes and then to go down on the field. Wow, what a neat thing.
Jose Iglesias had a single to short his first time up. Iglesias is going to make things interesting for the Red Sox. He played last year and hit just 118 for Boston. He didn't get a lot of at-bats, but it felt like pitchers were knocking the bat out of his hand. So you mentioned his off-season program, and if you're going to work out, why not work out with one of the best?
Yeah, he's bigger and stronger.
There's a fair ball past DeRosa that goes all the way down the left field line, and Iglesias is 2 for 2.
And he's more dangerous at the plate. Last year, you could really, you're right, just knock the bat right out of his hand. He just couldn't pull the ball. First swing of this at bat, he yanks it down the left field, or swings and misses, and then hits it down the left field line just past DeRosa at third base. They gave $9 million, I believe, to Stephen Drew, who is on the disabled list, and he could be coming back. He'll be in a battle with this kid.
Iglesias now 9 for 14 for the season. Kobe Ellsbury 1 for 2. Dickey making his second start for the Blue Jays. He opened up the season against Cleveland on Tuesday night. Had a much different knuckleball Tuesday night. J. Pierre Ncebe was charged with 3 pass balls. Dickey threw a wild pitch, but it was dramatically different than the knuckle that we've seen this afternoon.
4 walks in that start.
There's a base hit to left. Iglesias is being waved home. Here's the throw from Cabrera. It's high and over the catcher. And Cabrera had a shot at Iglesias. Ellsbury picks up the RBI. It's 7-0 Boston.
Brian Butterfield, the third base coach from now the Boston Red Sox, will challenge outfielders. Cabrera's got a very good arm. It's accurate, but not this time. Overthrows everybody, and that allows Ellsbury to move up aggressively, pushing it to get Iglesias to the plate.
Ellsbury's driven in 6 runs already this year. This is his 6th game. Shane Victorino, the right fielder. Victorino, we mentioned 5 for 19 against Dickey coming into this game. He has a hit. He's also struck out. Bob Davidson called that a strike. 2-1. 3 balls and a strike.
I think that's why Victorino was batting from the right side. It's just you don't have that open window to shoot for if you are a left-hander and you're the right-handed pitcher out on that mound. It's almost like you've got to be perfect. And he walks him.
First walk issued by Dickey.
The 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Dustin Pedroia. He has one of the Red Sox 9 hits. He's also driven in a run. There goes Ellsbury. Pedroia fouls it back. Ellsbury had a walking lead at second and broke on the pitch.
Thinking about getting through this inning. You're thinking about that batter. You lose your concentration of those runners on the base, and there's a lot of speed for the Red Sox at the top of their lineup. Again, they're going to push it.
Pedroia strikes out. Second time he's gone down on strikes this afternoon.
Knuckleball one more time, and good movement right at the end as Pedroia comes up empty.
Mike Napoli's had a productive series. Had a 2-run double in the first to go along with a 2-run homer on Friday night, series opener. He's also picked up an RBI with a ground ball. That one's going to reach the seats, out of play. Boston will go home after this ball game and open up their home schedule tomorrow afternoon against the Orioles. John Farrell will make his season debut as the Red Sox manager. Napoli behind Dickey, 0-2. Clay Buchholz will open up for the Red Sox against Orioles left-hander Wei-Yin Chen. There go the runners, and the ball is down. Ellsbury to third, Victorino to second, double steal. Ellsbury has 4 stolen bases in this series.
Didn't even look at him that time. Ellsbury. As soon as Dickey turns away, you see he gets a running start and no chance to get either runner.
Boston's got speed in their batting order just like the Blue Jays. Right back to Dickey. That should end the inning, and it does. Napoli's retired on the comeback for the Blue Jays. Fall behind 7-0. Middle of the order for the Jays. Edwin Encarnacion, the red hot JP Arancibia, and Mark DeRosa. is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Edwin Encarnacion takes one down and in. Everybody always gets a little too overexcited about slow starts, poor batting averages. How about Josh Hamilton in his first week with the Angels? That shatters. Lester had to get out of the way of it, and Encarnacion grounds out to short. Boy, Lester's doing a good job. This looks like vintage John Lester, what we saw prior to last season for the Red Sox.
Yeah, where he piled up all those great numbers, especially here in this ballpark. Look at that bat. Cutter. They wanted outside, and it looked like it came right in on the hands of Encarnacion. Watch it move. Look at the movement of that. And you swing, you think it's outside, and it ends up right on the label. Lester's got to get out of the way, and it's just a ground out.
Boy, that barrel is a dangerous weapon flying toward the pitcher. Right now, JP Arencibia is a dangerous weapon. Hitting .400, 3 homers, and he's driven in 4.
You know, I hear what you're saying about Josh Hamilton struggling in his new home in Los Angeles.
1 for 20.
And a ton of punch outs, right?
Yeah. He's not even close right now. And of course, everybody is thinking, man, he signed you for all that money, you should hit.
And at the end of the season, that's exactly what he will do.
JP Arencibia strikes out. That's 5 strikeouts for John Lester. John Lester, making his 23rd career start against the Blue Jays, has an 11-7 record.
Some of his real high strikeout games have come against the Blue Jays when he's got them all working. All of his pitches. His last time out, he said his curveball was not there against the Yankees. Said it was a non-competitive pitch. So he had to fight his way through the 5 innings, basically using his fastball and his cutter. Today he's got his changeup and his curveball working.
Yeah, Chad Mottola, the hitting coach for the Blue Jays, looked at Lester's last start, and he picked up on that fact, and he let his hitters know that was the case. But certainly it's a different Lester this afternoon than the Lester that the Yankees saw. Mark DeRosa felt that ball was off the plate inside. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Boston leads at 7-0.
That last start that you were just talking about, Lester versus the Yankees, threw 96 pitches in 5 innings. 75 of them were fastballs or cut fastballs, so he just had to gut his way through there. Today he seems a little bit sharper.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Upstairs, full count. Next half inning, we'll be joined by our Sportsnet baseball insider, Shai Davidi, who will talk about the Blue Jays minor league players and where they are to start the season. So make sure you don't miss that. Shai keeps up on all the players throughout the minor leagues, and as they're getting through their first week of the season, we'll ask him where some of the more high profile minor league prospects are starting out their seasons. Full count, 2 outs. Another foul back out of play. Mark DeRosa and Meiser Asturias have been filling in at third base in the absence of Brett Lawrie, and that's a big void. And certainly not a knock against either one of these 2 guys, but Brett Lawrie is a terrific defender first and foremost. And then, of course, he's also an offensive weapon. And Lawrie is just now beginning his baseball activities down in Dunedin, Florida. He stayed down there. He had a rib cage injury. John Gibbons knows how important it is, but the organization is going to be patient with Laurie, making sure that he doesn't miss significant time.
And that's the type of injury you just don't know about. It could take a week, could take 2 weeks, could take 6 weeks.
Ow. DeRosa got hit on the toe as Lester missed badly, and he'll go to first base with 2 outs. Now, Laurie missed a month of the season a year ago and a similar injury, and he always characterized this particular injury as not as serious. And that injury doesn't look serious, but it hurts.
Yeah, it might not look serious from up here, but that is right off the top of the shoe of Mark DeRosa. I'm sure 16 years in the big leagues, he's had those before.
Meister Stur, single to right, his first time up. Well, Lester's got everything, as you mentioned. He gets ahead with that get me over breaking pitch.
And he's been economical. 4th inning, that was just his 48th pitch of the afternoon.
We'll let that one get away from him. Ball in the strike. Blue Jays wrap up their season opening homestand. It's the 6th game. Torres chops it toward third. Middlebrooks bare hands and throws him out. Little Middlebrooks has done it with the bat, and he comes up with a nice play to close out the 4th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry broadcast studio. Now to be joined by our Sportsnet baseball insider, Shai Davidi. And Shai, great opportunity to catch up with you a little bit and find out where some of the high-profile prospects ended up. Let's start at AAA Buffalo, who's off to a great start.
Yeah, they are off to a great start. A lot of the prospects that were flushed out of the system in the offseason, and a lot of 4A guys in Buffalo, but the 2 names that stick out are Anthony Gose and Moises Sierra, 2 guys we saw last year, and they both can be important pieces of this team going forward.
How's Gose doing to start the season?
Both of them off to hot starts, but 3 games, we're going to go on. But the big thing for him will be working on hitting the breaking pitch, and that was a point of emphasis in spring training, and really one of the things that was revealed during his stint up here last year.
Tell us about AA New Hampshire. Who are the prospects that are in AA?
Well, not a lot there again. The 3 guys who would probably be familiar are all starting the season on the stable list, which is not ideal. Chad Jenkins, he's fighting through some shoulder things. There's John Stilson, he's got a oblique injury, kind of like Brett Laurie. And Sean Nolan, another pitcher, he's also got a groin problem that he's fighting through. There's also Deck McGuire, the first-round pick in 2010. He's got hit a bit hard in his first start, and he's looking to rebound off last year when he had a bit of a difficult season.
He's reshaped his body for sure. We saw him in spring training. He looks pretty good, and this might be a good breakthrough season for him.
Yeah, he was much leaner, and I think we saw him there in one spring game, Tabby, and breaking ball was much impressive. But he got hit pretty hard, and there was some questions about his mound presence at times, the way he handled things.
There's a high fly ball, hits you left field, and Will Middlebrooks is having some day. His second home run of the afternoon. He's 3 for 3 with 10 total bases.
Yeah, 3 extra base hits. Home run to right field. A double that he pulled down the left field line. And I told you he's got some power in that bat. 15 home runs in about half the season last year. That's not a knuckleball. That looks like he might have tried to throw a changeup or sink a ball, and it stayed over the middle of the plate. Chai, you were talking about some of the Double-A pitchers. Any timetable when they will get back into to playing? Well,
none of the injuries are considered serious. Chad Jenkins, there's no real timetable for him. The other guys are progressing forward. Another guy I should have mentioned, prospect in Double-A, is A.J. Jimenez, the catcher. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery, and he's on a throwing program, but he was very well regarded before he got hurt, and he could be a guy that is worth keeping an eye on.
Edwin Encarnacion snares that line drive. That's the first out of the inning. Okay, let's move to the Florida State League, Dunedin, and that's the high A League team. And from what I understand, there's some hot prospects there.
Well, there's the big one, the crown jewel of the system, Aaron Sanchez. And you remember the big three last year we talked so much about, Justin Nicolino, Noah Syndergaard. He's the one that's left, and a lot of big potential in that arm. And I chatted with him during spring training. He was very excited about something he did towards the end of the season, an adjustment of his release point, and he felt that really allowed him to get full extension on the ball and increase some of his velocity. By the same token, he's also getting stronger. He's a big body. He's already in the upper 90s now. He touches 100 occasionally, and that's only getting better, according to everything we're hearing.
And how old is he?
He's 20. And,
that's the good news.
Yeah, he's the guy that they really wanted to keep. I mean, of those big three, they didn't want to trade any of them, but to give something, you got to get something.
Sure.
And he's the guy that they really wanted to keep.
Jared Saltalamacchia, a nice play by DeRosa. That's the second out of the inning. Okay, Lansing, and I know there's some real interesting guys at Lansing, including one of my favorites, Roberto Osuna.
Yeah, absolutely. And Osuna really jumped out at people last year. He had a big debut in Vancouver with a ton of strikeouts. And 18-year-old guy, big-time power, and he's only getting bigger and better. He's pitching today, actually, for Lansing, and he's at the front of rotation. He's got a couple other interesting guys. Daniel Norris, the second rounder from 2011, a left-hander who they see good things from. He had a great camp, really impressed. He didn't have a great debut with Lansing, but people were very impressed with where he's at. Their catcher is another prospect that people may not know a lot about, is Santiago Nessi. He's a 20-year-old from Venezuela, and the Blue Jays think he's got a chance to be an offensive catcher, and they like his defense as it is right now, so they think if there's some improvement there, they may have something there.
Blue Jays drafted some high-ceiling athletes the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Dwight Smith Jr. comes to mind, DJ Davis. Tell us how they're doing.
Well, a lot of those guys are still in extended spring training, and they're going to map out where they end up in terms of short season ball. But DJ Davis, of the draft picks from last season, he got all the way up to Vancouver. He played 5 games with the Canadians last year. So he's the one who made some progress. Tyler Gonzalez, Chase DeJong, 2 pitchers. They had a couple appearances in the GCL, and they're going to look to move up a bit this year.
Obviously, the first pick last year is Marcus Stroman. He is currently serving out a suspension. Tell us about Stroman.
Well, Marcus Stroman had 42 games left at the start of the season. That's being shaved down. And the thinking right now is that he's going to be starting for Dunedin. Is what they'd like to do is they like to stretch him out, both to give him a chance to develop some of his pitches, but also it's an opportunity to make up for some of the innings that he lost over that process.
Shai Davidi going to stay with us. There's a pitching change, and when we come back, we'll hear more of the minor league prospects. David Bush in a return to the Blue Jays. 2/3, is charged with 8 runs on 10 hits, and he had a tough first inning. David Bush, the 33-year-old right-hander, back in the Blue Jays organization. He came up with Toronto in 2004, made 16 starts that season. He ended up going to Milwaukee and had a very good run with the Brewers and spent some time with Texas. He's on in relief.
This was his throw day. He was supposed to start the minor league game today, but he got the call yesterday. Now back in the big leagues, and he will serve as a long man out of the Blue Jays bullpen.
We are joined in the booth by our baseball insider, Shai Davidi. And Shai, we're talking about some of the minor league players, and you mentioned Marcus Stroman. I want to go back just a bit with Daniel Norris, and I saw Daniel Norris last spring, watched him again this spring, and he reminds me of a guy out in Los Angeles named Clayton Kershaw. Do you see any similarities with young Daniel Norris?
Well, there's a lot of excitement for him that he has that potential, and he's a left-hander who can bring it up into the mid-90s, and that's where I guess some of the comparisons come in. He's obviously much more raw at this point, and his command has been good. He hasn't walked a lot of guys so far in his minor league career, but he has been hit fairly hard. So I think it's going to be a matter of him refining himself into where he needs to get in the strike zone.
Talking about lefties and guys who have just been drafted, how about Matt Morrow, who was a high draft pick last year? Where's he?
He's still in extended camp. They're going to look to get him somewhere into one of the short season teams that start up probably around mid-June. And he's coming off a fractured foot that really reduced his draft stock ahead of time and allowed the Blue Jays to get him a little bit later than where he was projected to go. They had to pay a bit extra to get him, which is what they did. And in talking to him this spring, he feels that foot is 100% behind him. He's ready to get going, and that's a huge body. That's a very imposing left-handed presence.
He's a big guy, isn't he?
Very big, 6'7", I believe. And you talk to him, very friendly guy, but he looks like a monster.
Yeah, he's 19 years old, and certainly, anytime you see a big left-hander like that, everybody gets excited. And I think the future is very bright for the Blue Jays. There's a little popper into shallow right. Rajay Davis with a nice sliding pitch to end the inning. Shai Davidi, thanks for your time. Always great information, and we'll see you again real soon.
My pleasure.
Rajay Davis saves a hit for David Bush. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. It's all Red Sox so far. Season with MLB.TV. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand in HD quality. You can watch up to 4 games at once with multi-game viewing. Season subscriptions start at $109.99. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. And if you haven't checked it out, check out MLB.TV. A chance to keep up with all your favorite teams all around baseball. And I know Pat and I use it a lot.
Watching it today when we get back.
Henry Blanco, the catcher, pops it back over the screen. John Lester's been sharp, shutting out the Blue Jays on just 3 hits. 3 singles. Aaron Sebia, Isturiz, and Reyes. That's all that Lester has allowed. And he's had plenty of support. 8 runs on 10 hits, and Will Middlebrooks is putting on a show. His second multi-home run game of his career.
He's a nice looking player. Middlebrooks. They're going to need his bat. Lester, on the other hand, he's got the big lead, 8-0. Stay right with what you were doing. You don't want to try and get too fancy and try to create things out there. Just get in and out as quickly as possible.
Marco drives it into center, but Ellsbury is there. R.A. Dickey making his second start of the season, and Boston jumped on him early. They scored 5 runs on 5 hits in the first inning, including the first of 2 Will Middlebrooks home runs. He goes 4 2/3. Is charged with 10 hits, 7 earned runs. He walked 2 and struck out 5 through 100 pitches.
So where do you go from there? You know, you just get out there. It's new league. Get a feel for everything.
Yep, you just keep throwing. In his 3rd start of the season last year, Dickey had a similar game at Atlanta against the Braves. He went 4 1/3 against the Braves, was charged with 8 earned runs on 8 hits in his 3rd start of the season last year. He made out pretty good after that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. He did all right. I would not worry about it. It was way too early. The thing about veteran pitchers, when you have them like that, they've got a track record. And R.A. Dickey's not a one-year wonder. He's done it for the last 3 years. He'll figure it out. John Gibbons and his staff will figure it out.
Reyes Bonifacio slices it just foul. Bonifacio making a bid for extra base. Down the right field side. Yeah, when you think about R.A. Dickey, he's going to go back out there, and hopefully he'll make 32 starts all season long. This ball just slicing outside the right field foul line. Bonifacio, a strikeout victim his first time up. This is a fair ball, and it's down the right side. Boy, Shane Victorino got over there in a hurry. They were shading him to the opposite field, and Bonifacio has the 4th Blue Jay hit of the afternoon.
Yeah, right after the ball that he hit down the line, the outfielders took a couple of steps the other way, knowing that Bonifacio staying on that ball just a little bit longer. When it left the bat, inside-out swing, it looked like it was going to be extra bases, but Shane Victorino, who is a center fielder, when he first came up, gets over there, cuts that ball off, and gets it back quickly.
Victorino is going to have a lot of fun roaming around in right field at Fenway Park.
It's a tricky right field corner at Fenway Park.
Bouncing ball. Middlebrooks bobbles it and goes across to first in time. Taylor made double play ball. The third baseman bobbled the ball, and once he did that, he knew his only hope was to get Reyes at first.
How about how quickly he stayed with that tricky hop right at the end? Putting on a show with the bat and now with the glove. Look at that one. Takes it, but then when the transfer came from the glove to the hand, it came out. Didn't panic. Watch this hop. Bam. He stays right with it. Thinks about trying to turn 2. But then has the presence of mind to get the out over at first base.
That had double play written all over it, but Middlebrooks with the bobble. 2 down. Bonifacio at second for Rajay Davis. Way inside. John Lester, early in this ballgame, looks like a different pitcher than we saw last year. Of course, last year was a disappointing season for him, his worst in the major leagues. And the Blue Jays, boy, they roughed him up in Fenway Park. Hit 4 home runs against John Lester. And will start in July. Rajay Davis.
They got him a couple of times last year. Hit him hard. Just didn't have the weapons that we have seen this year to take to the mound last year. Looks a little thinner. Fastball's got a little bit more jump to it.
Last year, July 22nd, the Blue Jays had 9 hits. They scored 11 earned runs against Lester.
They got him early and often in that game, if I remember.
First pitch of the ball game, Brett Laurie hit out of the ballpark. First time in his career Lester ever allowed 4 home runs in a game. Different story today. He is in the driver's seat. 3-1, 2 outs. Pop back behind the screen. You just knew when you looked at John Lester's season a year ago that he was going to bounce back. He has been a good pitcher his entire career. Thrown over 200 innings in 4 different seasons. 2011 he missed with 191 2/3. Coming into this season 85 and 48. Broken back.
And it was just one of those seasons where the hard age tried, the worst things got. The team was terrible. ERA of almost 5. He gave up more hits than innings pitched for the first time in his career. And it was just a mechanical adjustment. And the adjustment is don't rock back too far back on that back leg. Stay a little bit taller in the saddle and really drive that ball home. Looked like he was throwing uphill last year.
He was 1-3 against the Blue Jays in 2012. And he had a 7.27 ERA. Certainly when you give up 11 runs in 4 innings, your ERA is going to balloon. Rajay Davis with a full count, 2 outs. Bonifacio at second. Davis stays alive. Boston scored 5 runs in the top half of the first. Added a single run in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Rajay Davis, his last 9 games going back to last year, 15 for 34. Davis lines it into center. Ellsbury backs up and makes the grab. Blue Jays strand a runner at second. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th, and here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew. Brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Baseball Central, weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific with Jeff Blair and Dirk Hayhurst. Listen on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and watch on Sportsnet 1. A couple of our baseball experts will bring you all up to speed after a very active first weekend of the Major League season 2013.
Lots of happenings around baseball in the first week.
Kobe Asbury drives it deep to center field. Bonifacio on the warning track makes the play. Ace coming out to help the grounds crew. Lost his bearings a bit. Missed the gate by a couple of feet. Hang in there, Ace.
Slow
motion is great, isn't it? Can break it all down. But he held on to his broom. Didn't lose his broom, that's for sure. Shane Victorino reached base twice. He's also struck out. Bush throws the breaking ball. Gets ahead of Shane Victorino. Another breaking ball, another strike. Dave Bush, now 33 years old, made his big league debut back in 2004 with the Blue Jays. He was drafted by the Jays out of Wake Forest. And bouncing ball. Two quick outs for Bush. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, they've cooled Chris Davis off. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon. His average has dropped to 500.
What's new about a Baltimore Oriole hitting a home run, right?
Yeah, they have gotten off to a great start. Adam Jones is hitting .542 for the Orioles. Hardy, with 2 RBIs, has 5 for the season. Jason Hamill, the opening day starter, on the mound.
You know, we talked about the first week of baseball being there's some records set and some big things happening. Chris Davis, those 4 home runs, that hasn't happened that much. Homering in the first 4 games of a season.
He becomes the 4th major leaguer to homer in the first 4 games of the season. But he also drove in 16 runs in those games. That's a record for the first 4 games of a season. Pretty interesting company for Chris Davis as far as 4 games with home runs. Willie Mays, Mark McGwire, and Nelson Cruz also have done it. Little slider. It's going to be a tough play for DeRosa, and he can only grab it and put it in his pocket. Second hit of the afternoon for Dustin Pedroia.
The 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Two-strike slider in a good spot, and Pedroia battling all the way, mounds it right off the plate, and rewarded with a infield single. They got Dave Bush up here, as John Gibbons says, to chew up some innings. The bullpen has been used a lot early this first week of the season. Bush, first time back in 8 years here in Toronto. Where has the time go?
Dave Bush had a pretty good run in Milwaukee. He spent 5 years with the Brewers. Made 144 starts in Milwaukee. He got a little bit of time with the Texas Rangers back in 2011. Last year he spent in the minor leagues with the Phillies.
Didn't he pitch over in Korea also?
Yeah, he has pitched a lot since the Blue Jays last saw him. He finished up with the Jays in 2005, went 5-11 in 24 starts. Napoli spoils a pretty good pitch. Napoli's had a productive series against the Blue Jays. He has homered and doubled. He's driven in 5 in the series. Fly ball to right. Davis, using his speed, makes the catch on the warning track. David Bush gives up a 2-out single and nothing more. Blue Jays, it'll be 3-4-5. Melky Cabrera looking for his 1,000th career hit. Edwin Encarnacion trying to get things going with the bat. And J.P. Arancibia. Tampa Bay had really cooled off the Cleveland Indians, and a different story there. And David Price getting hit around a little bit this afternoon. Tampa Bay had shut out Cleveland in the previous 2 games of this series. Melky Cabrera looking for his career 1,000th hit. On the afternoon, he is grounded out and popped out. Rays off that breaking ball. Boy, Lester's had everything working, and it's been a while since we've seen him this sharp. He's had a good curveball. He's commanded both sides of the plate, and we have seen the results of that mechanical adjustment you were talking about. He's got a good deep cutter this afternoon.
It's not the kind that goes side to side as that ball is popped up. It can get underneath the bats.
Ball is popped up, and Ava makes the catch in foul ground. Fans, don't miss this. Coming up later this afternoon, Davis Cup tennis. Right now, Canada leads Italy 2-1, and Milos Raonic now has a chance to send Canada into the semifinals for the first time in their Canadian Davis Cup history. It all begins at 5 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet Ontario, West and Pacific. And in case you missed it, Canada won a wild 5-set doubles match last night, winning the 5th set 15-13. Great match, and Daniel Nestor doing a terrific job as the veteran of that Davis Cup team, and Milos Raonic, you'll get a chance to see him later on this afternoon. Canada has never advanced to the semifinals in Davis Cup action, so make sure you tune in. Ball and a strike to Edwin Encarnacion. There's strike 2.
You know what I see from Lester that I didn't see last year? He's got swing and miss stuff again. Last year he just didn't have it. 166 strikeouts and over 200 innings pitched. There's that curveball as he slips off the mound. But today, the swing and miss is back for John Lester.
Yeah, he was always a guy that averaged a little more than a strikeout per innings pitched. He had over 200 strikeouts back-to-back years in 09 and 10. And Encarnacion, it's a little soft fly ball to left. Jackie Bradley Jr. is there, 2 outs.
We showed that earlier this afternoon about the declining strikeout rate for John Lester. I bet you it goes up this year.
Lester's been through a lot in his young career. He has battled and beaten cancer. He's come back from that. Came up to the major leagues in 2006 and then was away from the ball club for most of 2007 dealing with his cancer, and came back to be a big part of their postseason run in 2007. He worked in 2 games in the ALCS in 2007 and got the starting assignment in Game 4 against Colorado. In a decisive Game 4 win, picked up the W. JP Arancibia 1 for 2. He's the DH this afternoon.
Look at where those pitches are. Arancibia, they don't want to come inside. So they have kept the ball away from him. JP's done a good job of when they do make mistakes, he's pulled it, but he stayed in the middle of the field this whole series.
Lester slipped a bit on his follow through, but they have certainly stayed away from Arancibia. He got him yesterday. He had a big home run to center field off of John Lackey. This ball is going to stay in the ballpark. Shane Victorino, the right fielder, is there, and Lester sets down the Blue Jays in order in the 6th. We'll go to the 7th. Boston leads at 8-0. Good crowd on hand and a lot of young fans getting involved with the Blue Jays early this season. We're glad to have you aboard. Not exactly what they'd hoped for as they made their way into Rogers Center this afternoon. Blue Jays trail by 8. David Bush in relief of R.A. Dickey. Will Middlebrooks has had a day. Homered in the 1st, doubled in the 3rd, and homered in the 5th.
His career is just starting to take off. You mentioned the 15 home runs last year in less than half the season. Missed a month because of the fractured wrist. That's the most home runs by a Boston rookie since 1999. He's a good one.
This afternoon, he's enjoyed his 2nd career multi-home run game. Last May in Kansas City, he had 2 home runs and a double against the Royals. May 7th. He's got easy power.
Yeah.
Kind of guy you say, well, yeah, he's okay. Not really a guy that you would say is imposing. physically, but boy, oh boy, the ball jumps off his bat.
He's got a nice clean delivery.
He might have done it again. Melky Cabrera looking up, and what a day for Will Middlebrooks. 4 for 4 with 3 home runs.
There's that easy power you were just talking about, Buck, right there. Doesn't overswing, just make a good pass at the baseball. When you get a pitch to hit, take advantage of it. David Bush on 3-1 wanted to go down and away. He's over the middle of the plate. You can see short, compact, and electric. Number 3 on the afternoon with another double thrown in.
It's the first 3-homer game of the season in the majors. There have been several 2-homer games, but that's the first 3-home run season for a player this year. Will Middlebrooks, 3 home runs for the first time. Bonifacio looking up, and Daniel Nava goes back to back. The Red Sox have hit 4 home runs this afternoon. Daniel Nava has hit the ball hard all afternoon.
Fly deep to left field. His first time up had a long sacrifice fly. Second time up, lined out to first, and now told you that the ball's flying out of Rogers Center. That one bounces right off the top of the wall for his first home run of the season.
Daniel Nava playing first base this afternoon. Red Sox have scored 10 runs on 13 hits. They were shut out on just 2 hits yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, they got a hit in the first inning, a hit in the 9th inning, nothing in between. And this afternoon they brought the hitting bats.
Will Middlebrooks with 3 home runs this afternoon. It's the first time a Red Sox player has had 3 homers in the game since Dustin Pedroia hit 3 June 24th, 2010 at Colorado. So Will Middlebrooks rewriting the history books. His first 3-homer game of his career.
John Lester certainly likes all the runs that are being scored for him. That ball must look huge this afternoon to Middlebrooks.
Saltalamacchia takes a called 3rd strike. It's the first out of the top half of the 7th. "14 total bases for Will Middlebrooks this afternoon. That too is a season high. Todd Frazier and Justin Upton have both had 10 total bases in a game this year.
Wow.
Will Middlebrooks is going to make the highlight reel this evening. Big hop for Reyes at short. After Bradley Jr. is retired. He's 0 for 3 this afternoon. Three home runs and a double. Can't get much better than that, can it?
Not really. That's a week for some people.
Whew. Shortstop Jose Iglesias has gone 2 for 3 in his return to the lineup, and what an afternoon for Will Middlebrooks. Iglesias pops up to left field. Cabrera is there, and the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. It's all Boston. John Lester has been in the driver's seat all afternoon. His team staked him to a 5-0 lead before he towed the rubber. 6 innings, 4 hits. He's shutting out the Blue Jays. He has hit a batter and struck out 5.
He focused on getting his mechanics in place over the offseason. Didn't throw his cutter all spring just to make sure he got those mechanics down. He looks good. Jumps ahead of DeRosa here in the 7th.
Mark DeRosa was hit by a pitch his last time up. Goes after that high fastball. 6 strikeouts now for John Lester. Drive of the game brought to you by the 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Will Middlebrooks homered his last time up the first game here for his first home run of the season, and what an afternoon. He's added 3 more. Couple off of R. Dickey and one against Dave Bush. He now has 4 home runs, all of them in this series. Good looking hitter.
4 home runs and 2 doubles in this series. That's a pretty good 3 games worth of work.
He's suited quite nicely, thank you, for Fenway Park, isn't he? That short wall in left field.
Heiser Asturias gets jammed and grounds out to the second baseman. Custer has set down 7 straight. John Lester was out of whack all last season, and as we mentioned, had his worst season as a big leaguer last year. He was really hit hard at Fenway Park, 3-10 with an opponent's batting average of 300. But there were promising signs when he pitched on the road. 238 opponent's batting average, and that's where John Lester should be, both home and road.
Well, anytime you take away some of the guy's best weapons, he didn't have the cutter like we've seen in the past, didn't have the fastball like we've seen in the past, or the command and control, they're going to throw up those types of numbers. I think it's safe to say that he's back.
This is popped up behind home plate. Saltalamacchia will watch it sail over the screen.
He reminds me a lot of Jim Abbott. If you remember Jim Abbott, because of that cut fastball. Right-handers can go up there looking for it, anticipating the ball on the inner half. He can still break your bat. That's what Jim Abbott could do.
Jim Abbott used to have switch hitters bat left-handed against him to take away that cutter. They just felt like they had a better chance. 1-2, 2 outs. Pulled foul by Blanco. Another great crowd on hand this afternoon. 41,168. That pushes the series total to 132,000 fans. Great turnout for the Red Sox first visit to Rogers Center. Blanco, a little looper into center. It's his first hit of the season. Henry Blanco getting his first start, catching R.A. Dickey here this afternoon, and just goes down and serves that one into center.
Yep, stops the streak of 7 in a row set down by Lester.
Great turnout for the Red Sox series, and they'll be back here at Rogers Center the end of April. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, a 3-game series. Boston making 2 visits to Rogers Center before the Blue Jays go to Fenway. Blue Jays don't go to Boston until the 10th of May. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. 3-game set in Beantown. Emilio Bonifacio. You just get a sense that these 2 ball clubs are going to slug it out all season long. That Friday night game went back and forth. Red Sox would end up winning at 6-4. They scored a run in the 8th and a run in the 9th. John Farrell's Boston club was shut out on just 2 hits on Saturday. Jay Happ, Steve Delabar, Aaron Loop, and Sergio Santos spinning the shutout.
Similar ball clubs. Good starting staff. Jay Happ was outstanding yesterday.
5 1/3 of 1-hit ball. He walked 3 and struck out 6 in his season debut.
And when you've got that good starting pitching, you're going to match up, and they're going to be a great ball game.
Bonifacio lines out to the second baseman. That ends the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. John Lester with a comfortable lead. Toronto Star. It'll take place Sunday, April 21st. The Blue Jays will welcome in the New York Yankees. That'll be the finale of a 3-game series. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive an Edwin Encarnacion bobblehead. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. Log on BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. John Farrell with a congratulatory slap on the back of John Lester. Looks like his day is done. If it is, he will end up shutting out the Blue Jays over 7 innings on just 5 hits.
And doing it with fewer pitches than it took him to go through 5 innings his last start out. He was sharp. Here's another guy who's been sharp. This guy seems like he has been up every other inning all series long.
5th time Ellsbury has come to the plate.
15th time in this series.
He is 4 for 13. He's doubled and singled. John Lester appreciative of the efforts of his catcher, Jared Saltalamacchia. Ellsbury is behind 0-2. David Bush entered the ball game for the Jays with 2 outs in the 5th. He retired the first batter he faced, Jose Iglesias, to end the inning. Gave up a single in the 6th and then back-to-back home runs in the 7th to start the inning. Clayton Mortensen, right-hander, loosening up for Boston. I mentioned a great crowd over the weekend against the Red Sox for the 6 games in the first homestand of the season. The Blue Jays drew 225,284. That's an average of 37,541. That's a 31.9% increase over last season at the same time. And I think all of them are out there in center field. That big increase.
Maybe half of them hanging out there where we're going to be one of these days.
It's been a great homestand to open up the season. The results, not exactly what the fans had hoped for, but I think they're getting a taste of what this team is all about.
Yeah, there is excitement, and it's going to take a while as everybody gels and gets accustomed to their new surroundings. I think that's natural when you have the type of turnover that the Blue Jays have had. A lot of new players, especially the guys who've come over from the National League.
Well, Jose Reyes hasn't been too badly affected by it. He has picked up 7 hits in the series. He's 7 for 12 in the series against Boston. Of course, Edwin Encarnacion looking to get started. Emilio Bonifacio starting in center in place of Colby Erasmus. Ellsbury high and deep to right. This ball is gone. The 5th Red Sox home run they pounded out here this afternoon. Ellsbury has had a good series. 3rd home run allowed by Dave Bush. That's Ellsbury's 1st homer of the season.
3 knocks this afternoon. He's had 3 stolen bases in the series. This looks like the Ellsbury of 2011 when he was in the top 3 in MVP award that season. Tried to cut a fastball on the inner half, catches too much of the plate. He's very quick on the inner half. That was one of the things that helped him to hit 32 home runs that year.
Lined right to Reyes. Mike Karp pinch hitting for Shane Victorino. Go back and look at the home run and watch where the catcher is set up outside, and the ball is all the way across the plate inside, and Ellsbury took advantage of it.
Yeah, still you have to pull your hands in. You've got to go through that baseball to keep it fair. You don't want to go around the ball there. You hook it foul.
Well, there's a delay now. I'm not going to show you the reason of that delay, but we have an interruption in play, and David Bush is just going to wait around until order has been restored. Red Sox have jumped all over the Blue Jays this afternoon. They lead 11-0, 14 hits and 5 home runs. But the Red Sox turned their roster over quite dramatically, much like the Blue Jays. And you look at Shane Victorino and what he brings playing in right field. The Blue Jays, of course, very optimistic about their fortunes. But Victorino, a presence, switch hitter, guy that can bat top of the order. Mike Karp to Victorino's right, just pinch hit for him, and he's got some power. Left-handed bat off the bench.
We saw that when he was with Seattle. Took us deep a couple of times last year. But good karma this year from the Red Sox. They went out and got just some good old ball players who can play the game the right way. Victorino being one of them. Johnny Gomes, Mike Napoli.
David Ross, a veteran backup catcher, a lot of character. They love the way Ross has fit into this ball club. So it's going to be interesting. Everybody was anxious to discount the Red Sox. There's Ross, and he brings a veteran presence to this team that helps out a lot.
Yeah, one guy who wasn't discounting him was the general manager of the Blue Jays. Alex Anthopoulos said, hey, look, they're still the Red Sox, and don't discount the Yankees. They're still the Yankees.
So order has been restored. Second baseman Dustin Pedroia is set. 1 out. Pedroia has had a good day. Another 2-hit day for Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia already with 4 2-hit ball games this season. Hitting .346. Gonna take a walk. Blue Jays will have an off day tomorrow. They will go down to Detroit, take on the Tigers in a 3-game series. All 3 games will be afternoon games, and of course we'll be there right here on Sportsnet. All 3 games start just after 1 p.m. Then the Blue Jays will go into Kansas City, take on the Royals for the first time. Friday night, late afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon.
Some good news for the Blue Jays in that Tiger series. They don't get Verlander. They also don't get Scherzer. Max Scherzer pitched in yesterday's game for the Tigers.
It doesn't get any better than that when you go to Detroit and miss their top 2 pitchers. Brandon Mara will go up against Anibal Sanchez in the opener. And Mark Burley and Rick Porcello on Wednesday afternoon, and Josh Johnson and Doug Fister will wrap up the 3-game series. Of course, the Tigers are the reigning American League champs, and they're no pushovers, and they've got a couple of new guys, Torrey Hunter in right and Victor Martinez back. Mike Napoli has just gone deep. A 2-run shot for Mike Napoli into that 200 outfield level. That's 6 home runs for Boston.
This is a team, the Red Sox. They had 17 straight seasons with at least 300 doubles. Well, this afternoon they're showing they got a little bit more than that. They've got some power. Middlebrooks with 3, Napoli, Ellsbury. It's the little fastball right down the middle of the plate.
Rough afternoon for Blue Jay pitching. Will Middlebrooks. Melky Cabrera has got room as Middlebrooks was making a bid for his 4th home run.
It's like he might have caught that one just off the end of the bat. Johnny Gomes, watch the reaction. He thinks he got it.
On the warning track, Middlebrooks flirting with history. A 3-homer day. He's finally retired. Dave Bush will turn things over to the bullpen. Brett Cecil on in relief. Cecil's thrown the ball well early on this season. Brett will make his 3rd appearance of the season. He's allowed just 1 hit in 2 1/3, and a little bit more velocity, Pat.
Yeah, he faced the Red Sox a couple of days ago. Retired all 4 batters that he faced, all of them by strikeouts. 94 miles an hour with the fastball. Spinning a better breaking ball this year also.
Cecil has used that workout program that Steve Delabar used to rehab his arm, and it's a very extensive arm program that involves weighted balls, and they're very particular in the amount of weight they use with each different ball. And he feels that it's added velocity and also added arm speed, which leads to the better breaking ball.
Yeah, helps strengthen up that shoulder just a little bit.
Daniel Nava, switch hitter. Batting right-handed. Nava homered as a left-handed hitter last inning. Opposite field off Dave Bush. Nava takes the walk. Cecil walks the first batter he faces here this afternoon. Boy, the hitters have come alive for the Red Sox after being totally stymied yesterday. Just 2 hits. And in one stretch, 28 hitters retired between hits. Ellsbury had a leadoff single in the first, and Pedroia had a 2-out single in the ninth.
Just got a couple of runners to third base, and that was it. This afternoon, they started right out of the gate.
Jared Saltalamacchia has been collared this afternoon. He's 0 for 4. The ball is driven toward the alley in right center, and Rajay makes the catch. The inning is over. Boston leads it 13-0. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Final game of the season opening series here at Rogers Center, and the fans have turned out. 41,168 here this afternoon, and Mike Karp, who pinch hit for Shane Victorino, takes over defensively at first base. With that move, Pedro Siriaco comes in defensively at second base, taking over for Dustin Pedroia. And Daniel Nava moves from first base to right field as Shane Victorino's out of the ball game. Boston has scored in every inning but the second and the sixth. Victorino, he had one hit, scored a run in the first inning. Clay Mortensen, the right-hander, will come out of the bullpen and try to finish this up. Mortensen has made one appearance. He went 2 innings against the Yankees and We'll try to finish out this game for Boston.
That was his season debut back on Thursday night. Allowed a run. It was a home run to Francisco Cervelli. Another good arm out of the bullpen for John Farrell's team. He set a career high last year with 26 appearances over 6 big league stints with the Red Sox. Fastball, slider, long arm, free and easy delivery. Trying to finish this one up.
Top of the order for the Jays, Reyes, Davis, and Cabrera. It's been a tough day for aces. Justin Verlander, 7 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs. The Yankees lead 3-0 in Detroit.
David Price also throwing this afternoon for Texas, and he was losing earlier.
David Price, 5 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs. He's got an 8.18 ERA.
Yikes.
Early on. Numbers can get ugly. Reyes has another base hit, his second of the afternoon. Lots of new Reyes fans in the stands, and why not? Former batting champ, he won the NL batting title in 2011.
It makes it look easy. From either side of the plate, he hits from a spread out stance and just uses his hands nicely.
Rajay Davis. Blue Jays with just 6 hits. Reyes has 2 of them. 6 singles.
Yeah.
Came into this ball game with 11 home runs. Backhanded by Iglesias to Siriaco back to first. And boy, oh boy, can Iglesias pick it at short or what? That ball was past him, headed for left field. He gloved it and then threw a strike to second for the Forsythe.
He's so quick. He's got quick feet. He's got very quick hands at shortstop. This ball is smoked by Rajay, but he just comes up too close to Iglesias. Really no chance to turn 2. But watch how quick his feet are in his hands. Can't get Davis over there at first base, but a good attempt by the Red Sox.
Melky Cabrera 0 for 3. Reaches for it and fouls it into the seats. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you project it, the AL East is going to be a dogfight.
Yep.
You can talk all you want to about off-season acquisitions and depth and strength of rosters and all of that. By the time this season winds down, everybody's going to be battered and bruised.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You know, every one of the teams except the Baltimore Orioles made a lot of changes in the offseason. I don't think that the Orioles, what they did last year was a fluke. So I think they're going to be good. But the other 4 teams, I think it's going to be towards the end of May when each one of these teams figure out what they have, because there were so many changes on all of them.
The great GM of the Atlanta Braves for years, John Sherholtz, always said it takes you 60 games to figure out what you got. And you shouldn't panic until you've played those 60 games. Then you can decide what you need, what you have, and what you can go get. And that's pretty good. You think about that. 2 months of the season, you're in. Yeah. Everybody makes their starts. You're about 12 starts in for the rotation. Got time under their belt. They've seen the clubs in their division a couple of times at least.
Spring training isn't a factor. I think spring training is just to get everybody in shape and line up your roster and line up your pitching staff. Now you're going to compete at the big league level for a 2 months, or like you say, 60 games. Still got 100 left after that.
Yeah.
But you have a feel for what you have. People will make the changes and everything in the off season, but you really don't know what you have until you watch them play. And you've got to have a big swath of time to make your decisions.
Cabrera is caught looking at strike 3. He is 0 for 4 this afternoon. First strikeout for Mortensen. Yeah, you look at this division, the way they started play this afternoon. 3 teams were 3-2. The Blue Jays were 2-3, and the Yankees are 1-4. Looks to be like that throughout the season. I just think they're all going to be bunched up.
Safe to say that anybody can finish first and anybody can finish last.
Well, Jose Bautista hasn't started for 3 straight games now. Hopefully he'll be back in the lineup on Tuesday against the Tigers. Brett Laurie isn't on the radar screen just yet. He's in Florida. Reyes and Bonifacio just getting their feet on the ground in the American League. Edwin Encarnacion just trying to get his timing after missing time with the WBC and then injuring his finger. Kobe Rasmus showing signs that his stroke is coming around. JP Arencibia off to a good start, and the pitcher's just trying to sort things out. So this is game 6.
Yeah. And you're not going to get all your answers in spring training.
Back-to-back strikeouts. That's how the Blue Jays go down in the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. It's all Red Sox. Able to watch Davis Cup action as Canada will take on Italy. Canada looking to advance to the semifinals in Canada Cup play for the first time in their history. Be right here on Sportsnet, Pacific, West, and Ontario. It all begins at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure you tune in and watch Canada take on Italy. Great Davis Cup action. Daniel Nestor with that doubles win yesterday, his 45th win for his country in 21 years playing Davis Cup.
I see you.
Tremendous.
You can do it all.
Oh, he's had some great career. Daniel Nestor and the young Milos Raonic. Raonic will attempt to send the Canadians into the semis against Andres Seppi. 5 o'clock right here on Sportsnet. Jackie Bradley Jr. has seen his fair share of inside heaters in this series.
And up also. They have really pounded him up in the strike zone. Brett Cecil reaches back. This is 93 with a fastball, and he just can't catch up to it. That's what you want to do with young players. Say, let me see if you can hit the number one first.
Jose Iglesias back in the lineup after missing a couple of games. He started on Friday night, missed yesterday's game, came out of the game after being hit by a pitch.
Well, he looks totally different as a hitter, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This year?
He has worked out to strengthen his upper body. There's never been a question about his glove.
Yeah.
He can really play short.
7 extra base hits this spring and 8 RBIs kind of opened the eyes of the Red Sox and say, wait a minute now. We got a little something here.
Well, you mentioned he worked out with Dustin Pedroia in the offseason. I don't care who you are. You hang out with Pedroia, by osmosis, you become a better player.
He looks bigger. He looks dangerous with the bat.
Dustin Pedroia, a former Rookie of the Year, a former MVP. He is the lead dog in this Red Sox parade. All he ever thinks about is baseball. Trying to figure out how he can get better, what he can do to beat you. And he never gives an at bat away. Cecil with back-to-back strikeouts here in the ninth. Well, he looks good. Just a couple of outings, but it looks like he's got a little better fastball.
And I think he's going to be liking this relief. And you come in and you throw it as hard as you can for an inning, maybe an inning and a third. You don't have to pace yourself when you're coming out of the bullpen.
Well, you can just see it in his body, and I think this is a result of some of the new pitchers. I mean, he was always a guy that was very deliberate on the mound. And now he gets that ball back. He sets himself on the rubber. He's ready to work.
Blue Jays moved him to the bullpen at the end of last season, figuring that they can get a little bit more production out of Brett out of the bullpen. It's looked good.
But Cecil strikes out the side in the ninth. Kobe Ellsbury strikes out to end the inning. Brett Cecil with a good inning of work. Good breaking ball gets Ellsbury. Brett Cecil strikes out the side in the top of the ninth. On Friday night, Cecil had 4 straight strikeouts to end the 7th and first out of the 8th. Brett Cecil looks like a different pitcher. He has 8 strikeouts now.
7 of them against the Red Sox.
JP Arencibia. JP's the DH this afternoon. He's gone 1 for 3. Eight for 22 on the season. That's a 364 average. Blue Jays will have the off day tomorrow, and they'll travel to Detroit. Three day games against the Tigers. Detroit trails the Yankees 3-0 in the 8th. Tigers with just 4 hits. CC Sabathia, the starter for New York.
Here's a number 1 who hasn't had a bad day. Clayton Kershaw was pretty good yesterday again, wasn't he?
7 innings, 2 hits for Kershaw as they beat the Pirates 1-0. Strike evens the count of 2-2. John Lester was outstanding this afternoon. Lester, 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs.
No walks for Lester and 6 strikeouts.
And Arencibia strikes out. 3 strikeouts for Mortensen. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected, here's Jamie Thomas. Don't forget, folks, coming up at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Davis Cup action as they take on Italy, trying to advance to the semifinals. Could be a historic day. Make sure you don't miss it. It'll be right here on Sportsnet. Ball and a strike to Mark DeRosa. We've seen some big arms come out of that Boston bullpen this series, and certainly with the additions that they've had. Joe Hanrahan is the closer. He's got a big arm, and Andrew Bailey is healthy. He's throwing the ball well. They got Tazawa healthy again, and Koji Uehara, who is one of the toughest relievers in all of baseball.
Yeah, and John Farrell said that he's going to be careful, especially early in the season with some of the relievers who've got some age on them. Uehara is 38 years old.
Andrew Miller to the left of your screen is the only left-hander down there, and he's legit.
Yeah.
Since they've moved him to the bullpen, he has really taken to the relief role.
I haven't seen him in this series. Hanrahan was surprised he was hitting 99 the other day.
Yeah, they've got a very legitimate bullpen. Hanrahan coming over from the Pirates, been a 2-time All-Star, has 97 career saves. Junichi Tazawa in the back there, and he really has good stuff. Good fastball and a great splitter. Throws a lot of strikes. 2-2, 1 out. Rosa looks at one inside.
And we talk about them because that depth in that bullpen, I think, is going to keep them around all season long. The Red Sox, the Yankees have a very good bullpen. The Tampa Bay Rays have a good pen. Baltimore finally gave it up yesterday, their bullpen, a little bit.
Rosa on the ground. Iglesias behind Middlebrooks makes a good play, and the Jays are down to the last out. Boston has put on an offensive show here. They've scored 13 runs on 15 hits and hit 6 home runs. And Iglesias behind the third baseman just takes his time and throws out DeRosa. The 6 home runs allowed are the most the Blue Jays have allowed since they gave up 7 September 26, 2012 at Baltimore. The team record for home runs allowed is 8. They did that twice. They gave up 8 home runs at Boston in 1977. Talk about a fireworks show. It was the 4th of July of 77. They gave up 8 home runs.
I remember when they played Baltimore when they hit 10. I'm sure Baltimore hit a few in that game also.
That was at the old ballpark, Exhibition Stadium. 10 home runs in the game. John Farrell will leave Toronto winning the series 2-1. His first trip back to Rogers Center since he took over the Red Sox. Ball and a strike to Asturias outside. Brian Butterfield, 11 seasons as a Blue Jays coach. He said on Friday night he kept looking into the third base dugout to get signs from the manager. Deep-rooted habits take a long time to change. 2-1, 2 down. Asturias pulls it on the right side. Siriaco goes wide of first. Saltalamacchia backing up the play. E4 charged to Siriaco, who entered the ball game as a defensive replacement in the bottom of the 8th.
Wow.
That's a tough error.
Yeah, it looked like it was heading to right field, but the great range by Siriaco. That's a do-or-die play when you've got to completely turn all the way around and try and pick up that first baseman. At home, that's got to be a base hit.
Yeah, I think you have to give the home player a base hit. Something like that, and again, we're going to have another interruption in play.
Yeah, they're going to have to take a look at that again. An outstanding effort by Siriaco to go deep to his left and out into short right field. Stretches all the way out. It's got to be a base hit.
Well, Boston has hit 6 home runs, and Will Middlebrooks has had a career day. He hit 3 of them.
Yeah, first one down the right field line. And then to dead center field, and for good measure, how about pulling one into the left field stands? 3 home runs. A big afternoon for the young slugger for the Boston Red Sox.
Middlebrooks in the series hit 4 home runs and 2 doubles. Blue Jays will be happy to see him leave. He just missed his 4th home run in the 8th inning. He flied out to deep left field.
They did change that hit, Buck.
Yeah, must have been listening to the TV.
Exactly. Take another look. I mean, it's an outstanding
That's
effort.
the right call. There's no
Sure.
question about it. It's not a favor or anything else. It's a base hit. Siriaco had to go far to his left, spin 360, and try to find the base.
Yeah, try doing that. Try finding that guy, and then throws offline just a little bit. So Asturias will pick up his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
Henry Blanco singled his last time up. Blue Jays 7 hits, no runs.
7 singles. 7 runners left on base right now.
They came into the ballgame leading the American League in home runs with 11. Boston entered the game with just 2 home runs, and they hit 6. Baseball's a funny game.
Yeah. Got to sit there and watch it day after day to
Jose
really appreciate
Bautista,
it.
hopefully he'll be back in the lineup on Tuesday afternoon. He is chomping at the bit. Brandon Morrow will open up the Tigers series on Tuesday afternoon. Morrow will be opposed by Anibal Sanchez, who really pitched well for the Tigers down the stretch into the postseason. Maybe signed Sanchez to a free agent contract.
Some of these players coming over from the National League will get their first look at the Tigers at Comerica Park.
Two and two. Clay Mortensen trying to close things out in relief of John Luster.
Fastball, slider, on throw, changeup. Multiple inning guy out of the bullpen for the Boston Red Sox.
2 and 2. Fouled off the catcher and he couldn't hold on.
Had a good road trip, the Red Sox. They went to New York, won that series, and they're going to win this series. That ball's ticked. You see it, and then got the meat hand of Jared Saltalamacchia.
Strike three called, and that'll do it. The Boston Red Sox win the series. They shut out the Blue Jays 13-0. Will Middlebrooks, a big day. Mike Napoli, a big series. Napoli with a home run and a 2-run double this afternoon, and the Blue Jays will have tomorrow off to lick their wounds. Don't forget Davis Cup action coming up at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Tuesday afternoon from Detroit. First of 3 against the Tigers. Stay tuned. Connected. Coming right up.